that organizations will not give them donations the following year. Now, in May 21st, 2010, demonstrations became bigger, much better people, much larger number of people started to gathering. The Caucasus formed and other people get together, and we had in Taksim in 2010 one of the biggest demonstrations in the history of Adidas. Numbers came out in hundreds, if not thousands, demonstrating in front of the Russian embassy. 3 slogans were held again: Free Circassia now, recognize the Circassian genocide, stop the association of this. Year after year, more and more Circassians become aware of what had happened to us. More and more Circassians support the right of Circassians to a brighter future. May 20th of 2011, the Georgian Parliament recognized the Circassian genocide. I was there, Adil was there, other people were there. If you as a Circassian did not see a day in your life, this would have been the day to see when a parliament of a nation, an entire parliament of a nation, stand at the microphone, at the podium, one by one, and they would praise their relations, historical relations with Circassians. And they would talk about how Circassians contributed to humanity, and how they contributed to the Caucasus, and how important it is for them to recognize the Circassian genocide. One parliamentarian opposed the recognition, and he said, if you know Circassians, it is extremely impossible not to be on their side. If you know these Edigas the way I do, it is impossible not to like them. But despite this, I urge you not to vote on this issue because you will create a problem with us, with the Armenian community in Georgia. When the vote happened, this parliamentarian voted in favor of passing the resolution. 96 people voted in favor of the recognition of the genocide. We finished the recognition, the session. They invited us for dinner. The first time in my life I see people who are not Circassian crying over parliamentarians were sitting at the dinner table telling us we would never expect it, we never thought that we would see a day when we will have the Circassian genocide recognized in our parliament. May 24th, 2011, the second day, demonstrations now held all over the world. The most significant one. Here's the people who tell you that if you do this, you will hurt our people in the Caucasus. Nalchik, the capital of Kabardino-Balkaria, people go on demonstration raising more than 1,000 Circassian flags. Not a single Russian flag is raised. One single Russian flag was not allowed to be raised. We are sitting in Tbilisi, we're getting calls from Nalchik. Can you send us a Georgian flag? So how are we going to send you a Georgian flag to Georgia and you have your demonstrations tomorrow? The guys in Nalchik, they would go and they would paint a Georgian flag and they will hold it in the streets of Nalchik in recognition and thanking the Georgian government and the people for recognizing one of the darkest days in our history, and that is the Circassian genocide. So this had been for me, one of the most significant days also in the future or in the history of Circassian as we talk about today. Now, in terms of the genocide, here we are today, Circassian 2006 until now, we've done all these things. I mean, one nation with its parliament recognized our genocide. We were able to make presentation in different countries, Lithuania, Estonia, and we have the opportunity to do even in more countries, and we will get recognition, hopefully, sometime soon by other nations. So this would not be played as Georgia have done this for a political reason. Anyone in the world today can look at the Georgian recognized of the Circassian genocide motivated by politics, except us. For us, it's not politics. For us, it's a reality. Without this reality, we would not have been here to begin with. For somebody to come and tell us, yes, there was a genocide, they're telling us, all of you Edigas sitting here today in Brussels, you have suffered a genocide and we are going to recognize it. So for us, maybe the Georgian, it's politics, but I don't think it is. for any other nations, but for us, it's reality, and reality has been met with facts and recognition. And that's what's most important. The worst part of this genocide among Circassian, among us today, that this genocide is continuing. When we talk about our genocide in terms of history, this is not like the Armenian genocide. This is not like the Holocaust. Armenians have Yerevan and they have Armenia. Anytime an Armenian feels that his identity is threatened, he could take an airplane and go and live in Yerevan and get an Armenian passport and travel any place in the world and say, I'm an Armenian. So does the Jews in Israel. So does everybody else in this world, except Circassians. One of the most noble nations of the human race today does not have the ability to produce its own passport that says on it Circassian. What kind of a nationality this is? What are we? And here's a Professor Kopke tells you that we have difficulty defining who is and who is not a Circassian. Here we are, 6 million people who all call ourselves Circassians, and the Russians have difficulty defining who is and who is not Circassian. And this is the core of our identity crisis, that we cannot, if we had Circassia today, if we are living in Circassia today, would we have that problem? If somebody today in the United States asked me, what are you? And tell them I am a Circassian, it takes me half an hour to tell them what does it mean to be a Circassian. It's a country in the Northwest Caucasus, it's part of Russia, but it's not Russian. We do have Russian citizenship, but we don't have it, but we don't like the Russians. And it takes me half hour to tell somebody who am I. What kind of identity? So this we have to conquer. This we have to change. And if there is any doubt in anybody's mind that this is our problem, my problem, your problem, please change your mind. It is our responsibility that we go any place in the world and they say who you are, who are you? And we will put our hands in our pocket and we will take a passport, just like I take the American passport today. And we say we're Circassian. And we do not want Russian citizenship. I do not want to become a citizen of a country that slaughtered 60% of my people and kept 90% of that nation in exile until today. I do not want their citizenship. They could keep it. I want my own citizenship as a Circassian. And every Circassian I know here would be fascinated with the idea of carrying a Circassian passport. And if there is one person here who would tell me today, I do not want to see a Circassian passport in my pocket, I'd like to see his hand raised. We are not associated with any Jama'at, Imarat, Islamic fundamentalism and all this baloney that we are serving somebody's need in order to support somebody in the Caucasus, to serve somebody else's agenda, political or otherwise, in the Caucasus. This is a Circassian movement. It is not religious. It is not extremism. We are not supporting. I have no relation, none whatsoever, nor that I will have a relation with criminals that call themselves Muslims. People who kill people, in my view, whoever they are criminals. And I don't care what religion they follow. But terrorism is a crime, and Circassians will not support crime and criminals. I have been told that in Anatolia, when we were there, that I had met secretly with some Islamic fundamentalist group and coordinated with them. I would not give them a second of my time to sit down and talk to me. And if anyone talked to me, I would tell them, I will take a Circassian stand and nothing else. And this is the purpose of my all activism and my all awareness, and everyone associated with me. Know this, and everyone whom I am associated with, I would ask them and demand they would do the same thing. We invite you all as Circassians to stand with us. And if you stand with Circassians today, if you pursue the Circassian cause today, if you advocate Circassian activism, if you make the propaganda for this and publicize it and recruit people to work with us in this sphere, taking a stand in order for a brighter future, I promise you, you will not be sorry. Because the world must see a Circassian nation, and that nation is going to be built by us, you and I and the young people. And there is a chance for us. And just like the Georgians and the Estonians and the Lithuanians and Latvians and everybody in this world has their nations, we must have our own. If we don't have our own, we will not survive. Not by having organizations, CAFID and CAFDER and CBA and Circassian. This is not going to work anymore. This has served its purposes. We preserved the Qafa, the Halifa, and the Shipsopasta for 147 years. We don't need to do it for another 147 years. We learned how to make Shipsopasta. I could make Shipsopasta. I don't need to learn this anymore. We need to learn something else. One of the reasons they tell us that had it not been for Georgia, we would not have our documents as Circassian. Circassians have been working, Adil has been working, other Circassian, Ali Barzej, Murad Barzej. The Circassian Congress has been working and collecting documents. We put those documents for you in these CDs. Please take some of them. Check the websites that we have. One of them is CircassianGenocide.com. The other one is CircassianGenocide.info. You will get a record. You will read stories about Circassians and the Circassian genocide. You will never imagine that a human can do to human what they have done to us. And we cannot forget that this was done in Sochi, and we cannot as Circassian, one single Circassian cannot accept the Olympics. The whole entire world can accept the Olympic Games to be held in Sochi, but we as Circassians, not a single one of us, can accept for the Russians to hold the Olympics there. This is the land where Adigas died. If we tell the Russian it's going to, it's okay if you build a house for us in there, if you build a monument for us in there, if you recognize the genocide, it's okay to hold the genocide in the place where you killed our nation. What kind of logic is this? How would I allow someone who come to my house, stole my backyard, killed my family, buried them in the backyard, 10 years later, he asked me to hold a wedding for his daughter in the backyard over the grave of my father and my mother, if I get invited to the wedding? What kind of logic is this? How could we accept this under any circumstances? We have lived for 149 years, 47 years. Our nation was demised. As we lived in Turkey, in the Middle East, we built capitals. 2 Arab capitals were founded by Circassians. Turkish nationalists know that had it not been for Circassians, the whole entire Turkish probably future would have changed. We've contributed tremendously to the civilized world in every effort. We volunteered, we sacrificed, we served in armies and intelligence forces. We have done our part for every single people who hosted us. Now the time is for us to help each other, to help our nation and to build that future. And we have to become a little bit selfish in this. And we cannot become passive about this, and we have to voice it. So, all this time, with all the people who respected us, and we have earned the respect, and we distinguished ourselves in any country we went to, including the United States of America. If we accept today Russians to hold, they may have the Sochi Olympics in Sochi, but we cannot accept this. If we do accept this, then we really have lost the war with the Russians. And now we really have lost our integrity, and now we really have lost our honor as Circassians, the one that everyone in the world respected us for. So please be very careful. We cannot accept the Sochi Olympics to be held on the land where Circassians were slaughtered. And this is extremely important. Georgia, if people tell me why Georgia, and I'm going to conclude on this, and I'm going to tell you. We Circassians, I go to the Adi Casa in Istanbul, I go to the Adi Casa in Amman, Jordan, I go to the United States, we sit down, and what group of Circassians sit down, every other word is Kafkas, 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 Kafkas. We talk about this all the time, everybody knows this. You go to Georgia, you sit down among the Georgians, you will not understand Georgian language, but every other Georgian word, they say Kafkas too. They do have the same culture we have. They do have a very similar culture to Abkhazia. We do share with them many, many aspects of life, whether it's hospitality, generosity, or anything, and we are similar in our culture to them. And we do feel very close to them, and when we went to their country, they welcomed and they received us with open arms, and they have fulfilled every single promise they made to us. So do I trust them? Yes, I do. Has history been changed? Of course, nation changed. The United States dropped a bomb in Japan and Nagasaki killed 250,000 people. Today, you stand in the United States of America on the street in New York City. You can't. They should reconcile, they should go in peace, but not before the crime is solved. Not before 6 million Circassians have the right to go and repatriate back to the Caucasus as soon as possible. With this, I wanted to thank you for your time and your patience, and I am delighted to have the opportunity to talk.
Thank you so much, Iyad, for this really emotional speech. We'll now have a coffee break for 10 minutes. Afterwards, we'll proceed with music, and afterwards, after the final presentations, then we'll move over to the questions and answers section. I think